I'm afraid that for this probably is a little bit of medical bulletin to start with, if that's all right. But I'm trying to think. I'm not sure we've got sort of hopeful return times yet for Tom Nichols, Tom Wilson Brown, and Joe Snowden. So I don't know if you can tell us about that trio.
As much as I know, as much as I pay attention to it, is Joe Snowden will be assessed this morning. So he'll be trying to join in training. Tom Nichols will be the same. And Tom Wilson Brown is going to have a scan on what the injury might be. And it's in his hamstring area, so that'll be later on this week, maybe tomorrow. So he won't be available. And we've also got Ollie Palmer is not available. He's ill.
How close are you to putting bubble wrap around them at training at this point?
This is what I've said all along. You need a squad. You need people to understand who plays what way, how you've got to connect with them, because it's very different having Aaron Drinnan up the middle or Ollie Palmer up the middle. And then how does Drinnan evolve and work with Palmer? So you've seen in a couple of games where I've had to change things at half-time to make sure that I'm getting the best out of both of them, and it will work long term, but I haven't got those to choose from this week anyway. So this is what life's all about, having a group of players who you can train and work together, who understand each other's good bits and bad bits, and I try and piece it all together. So we need to be able to play different ways, which suit whoever you've got available. So, and also the team you're playing against and their strengths. So occupational hazard, I'm afraid. That's why we've got so many people, so many players, and particularly this time of year when suspensions kick in. You got Finley out as well, so he's definitely suspended. So that's what it's all about.
So I guess how does that kind of understanding come between your group of how the different players work while still maintaining your overall principles?
Principles are fine, but it's then tactics come into what we're having to do because of certain skill sets. So, the principles you always stick to. I'll give you an example. In other words, if any one of my players ever has a doubt of should I press him, you've got to be there within 4 seconds. You've got to. If he has 1, 2, 3, 4 seconds to do something with the ball, you're getting it wrong, and we got it wrong against Colchester. We didn't do that. They had 3 passes and still didn't. So if you look at us the other night, we were brilliant at that, absolutely brilliant at that. So whatever I do with this team that I picked for Saturday, which will have to be a different team again, and this is when you get all sorts of problems because it's a totally new team again. But hopefully what you do in weeks and weeks and weeks of training, they will just slot in seamlessly, hopefully. And what I've got to do now very carefully is look at who I've got available, who is available, to see what I might have to do to make it work. I think the other day playing Jamie Knight-LaBelle as a right wing back, letting him push up on the right hand side to win a header so we could lock it in behind him, worked a treat, defensively and attacking wise. So, with Finn down that side, it really did work. So, and Drinnan made that. He was absolutely outstanding. Billy Bowden played his part, drifting in, floating, creating things. Prince played his part, although he didn't play as well as he wanted to. I don't care. He's got to learn that. It'll all go right for him one day and it won't the next. He's still young. He was still a threat. He was still part of it all. So, all in all, that was a brilliant performance, I felt. Absolutely brilliant. And let's see what we can do this weekend with a totally different setup.
How do you kind of go about replacing Finley, given how well he's done and the sort of attacking threat he's offered in terms of assists and all the rest of it?
Well, I'll put somebody else in and they'll have a chance to play down that side. It's quite simple. I know it sounds weird and you want me to ad-lib, but it is as simple as that. And whatever skill set this person's got, it would be good if he's got a left foot. But deep down, does that really matter? Probably not, because people chop inside now, don't they? They do all sorts of things. So, we're definitely at bubble wrap time, but, as I say, I've still got a wonderful skill set to select from. I've still got experienced people I can call on and use and play. And if someone's out of position, it won't be that bad, because they'll still be able to do some of the things I want attacking wise. It might be defensively, they might not understand that, and then I might have to be a bit more solid, a bit more senior in the defensive areas to help out for that. So it's all about trying to get a balance. And I still don't know, because I'll have to wait till training's finished. So that really does hamstring you a little bit, excuse the pun, with a few of them flying about, but that is really going to curtail what I want to do today. If I've got to wait till the only training session that we can really use to get ready for Saturday is today, if I got to wait and see if one or two are fit. And I won't know till after training, because have they reacted to that? So I won't know until tomorrow morning. So, why didn't you pick him? Well, this is why. This is the life of. And all you do is spend time worrying about it, but I don't anymore. I'm just, let's have a look. Where are we then? Okay. Literally found out about Ollie Palmer however many minutes ago.
I should check what he's done, I guess.
He's ill.
All right.
That's all I got. He's ill. He's unwell, so I don't know. Could be anything. Hopefully, ain't too serious.
You're a little worried that you're getting a little rush of hamstring injuries in particular?
No. It's nothing to do with our training. It is the stress and strain of the games program on these particular people, Danny's was a total freak. He's went to ping a ball. He pinged it probably 20 yards further than he normally does, Danny Butterworth, And Tom Wilson-Brown has a history of having this type of injury, so, and the injury he had last week wasn't this. So it is what happens, I'm afraid. So touch wood for him, for us, that it's not too bad.
What are your thoughts on Fleetwood? You went there to the end of last season, had a pretty good win, and there's still a reasonable number of both players, members of both squads who are still at the same club. That makes sense.
Has that got any bearing on this year? Has it? I don't even think I should even talk about last year what happened. Namdi Offerbor scored the last goal in that one. He's not even here anymore, so it is what it is. But both of us had a chance to get in and around the playoffs last year at this when we went, and none of us did. So let's see what we can do by the end of this season, and really what we have to do is keep building, getting in a run of form, getting good habits, understanding the principles of play, and making sure they're there every single minute of every single game, not miss a whole game through it or a whole half. Woo, that's unacceptable. That's our fault. But changes and going in and coming out, and that is in the lap of the gods, that is. So, and then it's about the work that you do with the other ones to make sure that they understand and you don't lose rhythm and momentum. And is your squad strong enough to resist and be resilient over these sort of periods, over the games that you want to try and win, Their manager knew he was out the other evening, He was incredibly relaxed after we beat him 4-0. Because he knew he was already out of competition, whereas we still had a chance to get through. So we were completely up for it. But at the end of the day, we have to earn the right this year to do whatever we can do to anybody. Whatever happened last year has nothing to do with it. Because excuse me, if you're inexperienced, you could say we're in a good run of form. We might do what we did against the opponents coming up, as we did last year. So look, why don't they just give us 3 points, give us a 4-0 victory, and then I'll take that against Grimsby as well. You know what I mean? It doesn't work that way, does it? So, you know, that's what's so wonderful about football. You know, that's why bookies win money on people gambling on football, because you think it's a dead-on certain it ain't gonna be. So, you know, this is why we do it all, I suppose, but I do it for the love of teaching people how well they can become part of a group and how brilliant it is when you are winning. I thought the other evening was a wonderful feeling, you know, for everybody involved, to understand that we can do that. And I thought we were brilliant without the ball. Didn't give them an inch, particularly first half. Did not give them a second to breathe on it, a chance to hurt us. And when they did get a free kick, we dealt with it brilliantly. Thought the boys were completely at it. So there's some really good things to show, but I wouldn't be able to pick that team. And would I have anyway? After all, you know, because this is what happens at this time, you know, the rigors of your body dealing with it all, and your mind dealing with it all, and then having a rest and then going again. And, you know, so we got the travelling tomorrow, we got to leave at 10 o'clock, we got to train halfway up. It's you know, I got a lot to sort out today, to be honest. Pleasure.
How big of a challenge has been about Ollie Palmer and Aaron Drynan become in terms of the style that which you can play in without having those kind of skill sets?
We'll see. Won't we? Someone to play up the middle. And whoever that is, I will have to look at what they do really well and think about how we're going to get from back to front or past front. With Aaron, you can go long. With Ollie, you can go up to. You go on to and up to, and it sticks. He can occasionally go in behind like he did, but that's Aaron's game. So, you know, we've probably had more problems with Ollie and Aaron in the same team because it hasn't really sort of gelled yet, but it will. They'll understand what they need to do together, as with the third one as well. There's always a third one up there. I like 3, you know, so it's all about trying to get them. So that's my thinking. It's not the one at the middle that matters, it's the 3. How am I going to get those 3 to jiggle in? So it's not just Ollie's not there and Aaron's not there. It's who can I work and how can I work those front 3 to... That's what I love, to be honest. That's why I always have so many forwards. You know, I love thinking about, what can he do? Where can he go? How does he? And I'm sure it'll give Billy Bowden or Glatzel, or we've made Darren Oldacre into one of them as well. So, you know, where are we with that? We've got Danny Gonzalez, who's been doing really well. We've got Prince, who was exceptional in training. He didn't quite take it into the game, but it might be a day for him. You know, I've got to look at who else I've got, what I can do down that left-hand side without Finn, because he's suspended. Stupid booking. Didn't think he needed to make that tackle, but there you go. So, you know, it's all sort of self-brought upon at the moment, where we got to sort that discipline out. Phil Mbete it's slack. We can't make these mistakes. So I'm a little bit upset with that. And I'm not getting booked on the side, am I? So I'm trying to lead the right way. But we'll see. It's all fun. We have more than enough people in there who I can look at and think, wow, hang on, I might use you there, I might do that, I'll do that, you know. So, but it's definitely different than what I thought I was going to do driving in this morning.
How is Darren Oldacre? Obviously came off the other night with a dead leg.
He's got a dead leg, which means there was blood in a bruise that was growing inside his muscle. And by continuing, I wish he'd have said it was as bad as it was. I'd have brought him off, put ice on it straight away, and then you can run that off after. He thought you could just carry on running and it'll be all right. You run it off. No, that ain't how you deal with a dead leg, you nugget. But there you go. Hopefully it's not too bad. I don't know. You know, that's not a pull or a tear. It's just a wallop, and there's blood in the way, so you got to get rid of the old blood. And normally you do that by running it off. So we'll see. But it depends how painful they are.
So John McGregor had quite a long spell out. He's been more consistently playing games
Yeah.
late. What have you made of his kind of
Brilliant.
progression back?
Absolutely brilliant. Thought he was fantastic in his last game. We rested him, completely rested him for Saturday. So thank God I did. At least I know he's fit. Didn't use him the other night because his legs might have got injured. That's why I put Jamie Knight the bell there. And I thought what I wanted him to do, he did really, really well. A defensive and also a few headers that got us up the field, got us in behind their midfield, and then we did things from there. So it's about how you get there. We can't be too predictable.
When you've got these selection issues, how tempted are you to have a change systems, formation structures, or is that going too far and it makes the players more confused? Like, what's the balance that you weigh up between those?
For me, I'd love doing that. I don't like people knowing what we do, and I think with the analytical brilliance of everybody these days, clubs understand how much you can find out if you look at Man City. That's a major blow to Liverpool by just stopping one centre-half having it, letting the other one have it. How effective that was to nullify how good Liverpool were was scary. Right? So it happens at the top, it happens at the elite, you know, and what you've got to try and do is overcome all these issues that you have. And what we cannot become is predictable. So I love changing shape. I've done it to get us out of all sorts of trouble last year over and over and over again. And really, shape is only about when the ball goes out or when the ball is a restarting, and then the game is always in a transition, whatever. You're either transitioning from a defensive shape into an attacking shape, or an attacking shape into a defensive shape. So, and you can have two different things. You can attack with one shape and you can defend with another shape. So, you know, it's all about who you got, how does that suit them, how easy is it to get over, and does it enable you to strangle them easier? Because you want to stifle them, you want to strangle them, stop them doing their bit. Sometimes you let them have it and you've just blocked their passing lanes, which I never knew until I went to Crystal Palace, and I had to do that in the final. And Watford, they look all, no, we just knew where their passing lanes were, and we just stood people in there and they couldn't play their normal game. So there's all sorts of things to it. It's a wonderful, wonderful game. It's better than chess because the ball moves. Once you move chess, they're all still, aren't they? Whereas in football, everything's moving. It's just completely insanely brilliant. That's why I love it. And I hate anyone who says, oh, you've got to control the game. Try to. You can't. You can't. Sometimes you want chaos. You give it away. You press so well. They try and spread out to play, and you press and you win it, and then they're wide open, and then you go and hurt them. You know, you can't always be predictable. So we'll have to see what they learn and what they understand and where they are. But it's all about what I feel about the skill sets I've got available to pick and what I'm going to do. And I'm sure I can use a gym like this, walk them through it if I need to, if it's a different shape that they haven't been used to. We've already prepped them for all of this anyway. But that's what makes this game so completely mentally brilliant. For me anyway. Some people turn over, don't they? But I don't. I love it. Absolutely love it. Seeing one whole group of people trying to become one in a pulsating thing where that thing won't stay still. And it's always going to move. And you get your starting positions, and then you move, and then you do that, and then, and how quickly should you be ready to move? The other night we were instantaneous. The Second that ball came in, we were already moving. We hurt them big time. So, well done. That was us. We earned that. And with them, they were bad. We forced them to not be as good as some of those players are. I think they paid 700 or 800 grand for one of them. Crowley, didn't they? Paid a lot of money for him, so I didn't even notice it was him. Not being rude, I didn't. Wow. Well done, lads. So, onwards and upwards.
It feels like a big chance of Palpat to be the main man in the three.
Do you think so? He might have to be wing back.
He may have to. But I'm more pushing on the point that he's been a fantastic supporting act to a couple of guys who are scoring a lot of goals, hasn't had the role or the chances to get as many. Would it be a fair assessment?
You've got to be careful choosing your words there, young man. There's no supporting act. There's no main actor. There's none of that. He's been absolutely sensational since pre-season, since the day that he signed. He's been absolutely sensational. His football intelligence, not just goal scoring, his football intelligence is as high, if not higher, than anyone I've ever managed. Fact. So I could play him anywhere. Honestly, I'm so pleased for him, and I'm so pleased with him that I could comfortably put him right back, right wing, centre back of a three, not a four, of a three, and let him go and attack and play from there. I could put him wing back. I could put him in either pocket or up the middle. Wow. And I mean it. At any level that I've ever been at, I believe he could do it. There you go. That's how proud I am of him. Honestly, and his work rate, his tenacity, his endeavour. If anybody wants to be a footballer, just have a look at him, and honestly, any young person out there, just have a look at him and try and mould yourself on what that boy does, apart from give himself enough credit for all the skill sets that he does have, rather than just, oh, I should score. That's nonsense. So he's been completely outstanding. Hopefully that answers your question.